Mubot is glad to see you again. Hello, Avery. Hello, Savannah. Hello, Zacchaeus. Hello, Margaret. Hello, Ashley. Hello, Drew. Hello, Margaret. Hello, Avery. Hello, Ellie. Mubot is giving out points. Good to see you, Jonah and Nathan. Points from Mubot. Hello, Brooklyn. Thank you for this special shout out to Mubot. End of semester hype. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. To Morty and Jolly's mother. Let's do 2 intros and then get started. Intro 1. Here we go. Mubot. Ow. Doing? I am back from New York. Went all the way up to New York and all the way back down now. So it is time for Kahoot. Got the lights a little bit better today. Hopefully it's looking a little bit nicer in here. So join in the Kahoot. Let's turn on some disco music here. How many people are going to get in? Can we get 50 people in? Can we get 100 people in? Code's at the top of the screen. Scan the code and start in the Kahoot with the disco music. Already got Legend Rooster here. Make sure to email me if you win. $20 Amazon gift card for first, second, and third. Lots of prizes. And you get a Rocky Top recovery. That's what you get to. You bet. And you get a pen. Things on my desk. And you get whatever's left is Vita Water. It'll be gone by the time we finish the food. We were up at 3:30 this morning. Good to see you there, Megan and Jonah and Daniel.
I don't have a voice changer. I was just doing a Mubot impression. Daniel, 1,000 points right there. I was just doing an impersonation of Mubot. Totally impersonation of Mubot right there. That's sometimes I just do it and I forget I'm doing it. It's just one of those things, you know? Mubot impression was super good. Thank you, Jonah, right there. I can do it pretty good. I can just be like,
Mubot.
I just do it. Just, you notice? Like, look, hands free right here. Hands free. I've got hands free. When do you expect the project to be graded? Shout out to our graders once again. I've been speaking to them, and they have a lot of stuff going on. They were supposed to have them graded by Thursday, and we've been talking. There's some of them have been graded. About half have been graded now, I think. And we've been talking, and I respect them, and they respect me obviously too. And I told them I just want communication. There are 213 projects left to grade. Last night there was about 320 projects left to grade. So I've been working with them, and we're trying to get them done as soon as possible. And so thank you, and we're going to keep going. Yeah, no, nothing's wrong on your end. And thank you for you're always welcome to ask. And thank you to my graders for communicating to me. I just need to be in the loop on when things are going to happen. and they have given me more updates. So this is the longest delay we've had, and I apologize. But once again, we want their physical and mental health to come first, but they are also graders. So it's tough. It's tough. You got to balance things, but they can't. Yeah. So no, Drew, really good question. And we should have grading done soon. We got 50 people. I love it. I want to see 100. We'll get started here in about 1 minute or 2 minutes. How many total did the grader have to grade? We have 2 graders for our section, so they each have about 160 to grade. 160 projects. Each project takes about 5 to 10 minutes to grade. So you're looking a lot of time. A lot of time. It is. When I used to grade projects, it'd probably take 8 to 12 hours to grade projects. Starting in about, let's put a 1 minute timer on, then we'll start. 1 minute timer on. I was so happy with my grade. The turn it in early bonus was so helpful. Awesome. Great job. Andrea right there. Let's make Andrea a mod. I don't know. We'll just make random people mods. Add as a mod. Standard mod. Andrea is your mod, and you get 1,000 points. So thank you so much, Andrea. Glad you were able to turn it in early, get those bonus points. 1 minute timer going, then we Kahoot. W's in the chat. Love it. We got our degrees of freedom here. Degrees of freedom. We got cat, bunny, kitty, bun, bonus points, gator, Florida, Bama. Mubot knows so many commands. Doubt. There's another one. There's so many commands he knows. Just look at all those. Or you can also do pointas. Is it pointa? There's so many. Good to see you there, Noah. Project grades should be posted in about 24 hours, I hope. Fingers crossed. Getting started here, Kahoot, in just about 1 minute. Now I'm going to pin this at the top of the chat. If anyone says, where's the review? How do you get to the review? How do you get to the review? Show people in the chat how you get to review. It's pinned now so you can see it. But how do you get to review? How do you get to review? Review 3 right there. Review 3. I think we passed the 1 minute. I don't know why I didn't hear the timer. The timer's gone off. I need an I'm ready for the Kahoot right here. Give me some I'm readies in the chat. Who's got those I'm readies ready? We need some I'm readies. Good to see her, Mally and Emma. Katie's ready. Who else is ready right there? We got Andrew ready. Got Nia ready. We got Jillian ready. Here we go. Let's Kahoot. Is it still playing the music? 3, 2, 1. How would you test to see if there's a relationship between married and non-married students? Now, I've given you hints on what the variable types are. So how would you do this test right here? Now, this is the biggest thing. I'm going to try to find this graphic right here in the background. I'll try to find it afterwards. But I have a graphic to help with these because the types of the variables dictate what you're going to do. So think about this. Whether someone is married or not married is a what variable. Whether someone is married or not married is a what variable. So you can answer in the chat, and it's also up there so you can review. Because we really have 2 types of variables. The third type, identifiers, is not something we usually graph or do tests with because they're meant to identify. Cat, you're right. Categorical meaning cat variables, categorical, also known as qualitative. And then you have quantitative, which is like someone's age. How old are you? I hate when people do age groups because that makes it categorical. It makes it an ordinal categorical variable. We don't want that. We just want the quantity of age. Here's the thing. You would compare the means. You would compare the 2 means. And someone's like, no! Right there, 2 sample t-test. Let's review these. When do you use a 1 sample t-test? When do you use a 1 sample t-test? And what does the 1 sample t-test mean? When do you use, Francesca, good to see you there. Oh, it's a Powerpuff Girl, I like that. When do you use the 1 sample t-test? When do you use the 1 sample t-test? Who can answer? When do you use the 1 sample t-test? So the 1 sample t-test, I'm pulling up a sheet of paper right here. On the other screen, what? Okay, here we go. Here's the answers we had. The 1 sample t-test is for 1 quantitative variable, we test the mean of it. So give me an example here. Give me an example. Give me an example of running a t-test. You should have one on your project, remember? So when would you use a one sample t-test? And the one stands for one group, and the t stands for mean. So like we'll put up here a note, t means we're doing means, and one means one group. And one sample means one group. Finding the average GPA of UT students and comparing it to like a historic average, the age of UT of Stat 201 students. Notice that's one group, is not Stat 201 students versus Finance 201 students. We're not comparing because then there'd be two groups. So that's when we say a two sample. The two sample ID right here is you're comparing two groups. And a lot of times you look at the what between the two groups. So you would compare two groups with the two sample, and you're looking at the what between the two groups. Think about the two sample t often looks at the what between the two groups. The two sample t often looks at the what between two groups. So if we go here, two sample t, not correlation, good guess right there, not correlation. Kind of mean the difference in the means. So you compare the mean of two groups at, no, not that, and their means, difference in means. So you compare two groups and the difference in their means. Because think about it, the formula, when you look at it, here we'll write formulas next to this, the one sample t is y bar minus mu naught over sigma over square root of n. And notice there's just one group, and it gives you a t with n minus 1 degrees of freedom. Now the two sample t is y bar 1 minus y bar 2 over s sub 1 squared over n sub 1 plus s sub 2 squared over n sub 2 with the t with the complicated degrees of freedom. So if you notice, the top of this is the difference in the sample means. And then this right here is for one quantitative when you test the mean and you have some hypothesized value that you're comparing it to. So now we get to the idea of what is a one proportion z-test. So how many things are being tested right here? How many groups are being tested if it's a one proportion z-test? How many groups are being tested? It says it basically. How many groups are being tested? Just one group, you got it. So this would be when we look at the proportion of one group and test it. So the proportion of one group can be tested by doing p hat minus p naught over p naught q naught over n square root. So that's how we can do the testing right there. And it's like if we want to see the proportion of people who are female on campus, we could do this test. Is this ringing bells for people? I'm trying not to appear, but is this making sense? Like, oh, you're just testing one group. Like, what is the proportion of females? But here's something we haven't done, which you could do. What would be a, and this is not on the test, two proportion z? This is not on the test, but what would be it? What would this be? Use your knowledge. For 5,000 points, what would be the two proportion z? Just think with your knowledge of what you know. So what would this be? Now, actually, and I got through 5,000, Savannah, that is correct. You can do the chi-squared on that. Yes, Mally, that is true. The chi-squared is our way. That's why we took it out of the notes, because we basically have the chi-squared. And Alexander, I got to throw the extra 5,000 points, and Reese is also seeing it. We could just basically say you compare the proportions of two groups and their difference in proportions. Now, this is not on the test, but think about how you were able to deduce this because it's just two groups. There we go. And so you're like, oh, well, it's just comparing the difference in proportions. You know what the formula would be? Check this out. The formula would be proportion of group 1 minus proportion of group 2 over standard error of the difference in the proportions. Just like if you did the other test where it's y bar 1 minus y bar 2 over standard error. I'm just writing this test to show the similarity because you divide by the standard error of the differences. The chi-squared is what we use for this right here. So instead of doing this, we do the chi-squared. It's not the same test. It's just an analogous way of doing this right here. What would be a good way to review these concepts, specifically T and Z? Mr. T is mean. So T is always for what variables? So Mr. T is mean. We use the T distribution for what variables? Mr. T is mean if you're doing drugs. For quantitative, for quantitative. And proportions is categorical. It comes down a little bit to memorization and looking at the formulas. So I would highly suggest understanding what the formulas are, knowing the notation. Practice solving them by hand is probably one of the best ways of doing it. There's my email. If you need questions, just have questions, email me. So there we go. And the chi-squared is for two categorical variables, which is count data, one of the conditions for the chi-squared. Let's go on and do the next leaderboard first. Fuzzy Dove, Rocky Lobster, Lucky Pony, Creative Collab, and Ancient Lark. Next question. How can we test the relationship between someone owning a pet and if they are married? Notice you have the variable types right there, and now you're reviewing. Who can give for 5,000 points the answer that is not on the board? What is a test that is not on here? Think about your knowledge and being like, oh, well, you have people who are married, people who are not married. Boom, Lillian already knows it. Yep. 2 proportion Z, which is not the answer. Great job, Phil, remembering it. And because you have 2 categorical variables. And what is the condition that we would satisfy by having 2 categorical variables? So if you've already answered, I'm throwing you bonus questions right now. 2 categorical variables satisfy this. So what condition for the chi-squared test of independence? I think I have a video doing that. Savannah, good question. 2 categorical variables goes over what condition for the chi-squared test of independence? Does anyone know? The answer is the chi-squared test of independence. And what condition is it that says we need 2 categorical variables? Kind of. It can be the 4th one. There is no order to them. Count data. And technically count data. I would probably count counted data and you'd find it in the correct sheet. It's count data, which means you have to have 2 categorical variables. Count data. Condition 1, random. Condition 2, less than 10% of the population sampled. Then you pause. And the 3rd condition I like to say next is expected cell counts are each greater than 5. And then next, the count data. So the practical usage for each one of these tests, chi-squared can be used like Mendel with the pea plants when he was testing the phenotypes to see if they were large or small or green or yellow. You can do categorical comparisons of 2 categorical variables. One sample T lets us test the value of a mean to see maybe like historically students have had a certain grade point average and we want to see if it's changed. So it'd be a 2-tailed one sample T. 2-tailed means the sidedness of the alternative. One proportion can be used to test like a historic value of a proportion. Like if we know historically UT has been 60% in-state and we want to see if that's decreased, if there's less in-state students, we could want to run a 1 proportion Z. And a 2 sample T would test the difference in means so we could see who's smarter, Florida or UT students. We already know the answer, but we could test their scores on a test because T is quantitative and compare the difference between the 2 samples. So the 2 samples talks about the difference between the means being tested. And that's what we have right there. Really good stuff. Let's make Noah mod as he dabs right there. Standard mod right there. Dab. We'll put a little dab in the chat. Newbot. He might dab. Who knows what it'll do? He does a bunch of crazy things. Leaderboard next. I didn't mean dad, Mewbot. So here we go. Fuzzy Dove in the lead. Lucky Pony, Kind Llama, Lovely Shark, Super Bunny. Oh my. Oh, you're gonna win. You got a crown. And yeah. Okay. Super Bunny. You look like a bunny. I'm going 5,000 points just for that. Next question, here we go. When doing a hypothesis test on the mean, which is the condition that must be met? W's in the chat for Super Bunny. Who knows? Now, there's 2 conditions that are pretty easy to remember. What are the 2 conditions that are pretty easy to remember? Love all the W's. So condition 1, random and 10%. So you always do random and 10% because that's when we do the test, unless we're doing like regression, then it's QQ straight enough, no outliers, plot doesn't thicken. Random means we randomly selected the data. 10% means less than 10% of the population sampled. Now, I want to point something out huge here. Who's been watching the review videos? Who has been watching the review videos? Has anyone watched any of the review videos? I like that. And I'm guessing you got this question really quickly. Now, a lot of people say success failure because that is the third condition we learned first, but success failure is for what kind of data or what kind of tests? Success failure is for what kind of data or what kind of tests? Great job, Jaden, right there. Proportions, like the one sample proportion Z, the Z-test, Z-interval, proportions, because you have P, Q, NP, NQ, categorical 1Z, stuff like that. Great job, Autumn, and everyone, all those answers. The proportion test, the one sample Z stuff is success failure, and the equation itself says it. Isn't independent, that is true. Great job, Space Cat right there. That is for the two sample T. So all the means, and let me show you this right here. Please check out these videos. I can't state this enough, but these videos right here on review 3, if you go to this one, which starts with I've heard this start of this a billion times, maybe half a billion. If you go to the end of this right here, you can see all the conditions. Good to see you, Joe. Joe's in the chat. We're making Joe mod right away. And let's throw 10,000 points. I want to see some big shout outs to Joe right here. Tag Joe. Give Joe some shout outs. 10,000 points. And if you notice right here, you have all the conditions laid out right there. So you have random, 10%, and then you have success failure right there. Nearly normal for the quantitative means, independent means right here for the two sample T, and then for the chi-squared, expected cell counts greater than or equal to 5, and count data. So I highly suggest watching these videos. There's a lot of good content here, whether you want the speed runs, and if you haven't seen it, we gotta do it. I got a big compliment from, I'll say it, Joe complimented the videos, and it really meant a lot to me. This is one of the ones I put a lot of time into. So here we go, we're just gonna watch this intro. Check out these videos. I promise some of them are kind of fun and some of them are more serious. One of the videos, if they strike a chord with you, watch it and learn. Here's the intro. Sounds like I ran out of words there. Anyways, check out some of these videos right here. Oh, you couldn't hear the video? Was it not playing through? No audio? Oh no, I turned down, no. Well, you're right, quick vote. Here we go. Vote now, forever hold your peace. It told me it was finding the audio level. Oh, I don't have my... Well, I hate to say that, and it's almost a 50-50 vote. It looks like we're not going to do it. And you're going to have to go here to the link itself. Joseph's played again. I love it. I don't know, my audio on the computer's not coming through, the Go XLR. So right now, it looks like audio from the PC is not coming through. That's not the end of the world. And go check out the video itself. And I'll throw the link in the chat right here. So let me exit full screen. And I'll throw the link in the chat. And check out these review videos. We're going to click on the playlist. Now you're locked into the playlist. Amy, good to see you there. There is the link. We're going to pin the link. And we're going to go back to Kahoot. Back. Here we go. Back in the Kahoot. Let's see how that leaderboard is doing. Kind Llama, Super Bunny's still here. Green Iguana, Elated Piranha, and Lovely Shark. Next time, here we go. We're already started. Join on in. There's the pin down here at the bottom of the screen. Go to kahoot.it. Join on in. Next question, here we go. Which condition do we need at least 5 of? Which condition do we need at least 5 of? Which condition do we need at least 5 of? And I'm going to get you audio while we do this. Audio input. Which condition do we need at least 5 of? Huh. XLR is... Well, that's not right. I might have an echo. I don't know. You don't get to hear the cute music. That's a bummer. Oh, I bet I know why. Okay, a lot of people got this one right here. Oh, I know why. And this is going to be kind of sad right here. It's because I'm outputting to the headphones. So we're going to try something right here. I'm not going to get to hear the music anymore, but you will get to hear the music. So get ready, everyone. We're going to put it to the system. Okay. We're going to see if you hear music now. You might get to hear it. You might not. We're going to figure this out as we're doing this. So what test are we talking about right here? Expected cell count is for which test? So put it in the chat right now. If we're doing the expected cell count, we did condition 1, random. Condition 2, less than 10%. And then the chi-square test of independence has 2 more conditions, which is count data, which says we need 2 categorical variables. 2 categorical variables means something like married, not married, cat, dog. And then expected cell count is we need at least 5 expected cell counts. Now, there is a formula for expected cell counts. And what is the formula for expected cell counts? You should know how to solve this pretty quickly. What is the formula for expected cell count? Who knows it? And we've got the review sheet up here right now. So go ahead